Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in here on today's show. We got some news and rumors topics to catch you guys up on, so let's go ahead and dive on in here. How about signing Ezekiel Elliott in NFL free agency? Zeke was, of course, cut by the Dallas Cowboys last week, and look, while he's certainly lost, I would say, at least a step, the burst is not really there anymore. He's still great in two areas: short yardage, 3rd and 1 or 2, and in blitz pickup. He's an excellent pass blocker, still arguably the best in the league. He's one of the greatest blocking running backs of all time. When you need someone to pick up a blitz out of the backfield, there's no one you want more than Ezekiel Elliott. So let's kind of talk about this a little bit. You obviously look at some of his recent years. The production's dipped, right? The yards per carry has dipped. He kind of had a slight uptick in 21 from 2020. So you're thinking, okay, he's not elite anymore, but maybe he's, a clear RB1. But this past year, under 4 yards a carry. Again, 12 touchdowns. He can find the end zone still in the right offense, but it's clear that he isn't what he once was. Now, does that mean he doesn't deserve to be on a team? Does that mean that Ezekiel Elliott can't contribute on a contending team? No, I don't think that's what that means. I just think he's a rotation back at this point with a specific role, which is short yardage and some third down snaps where he can pick up blitzes on clear passing opportunities. Now, you look at this depth chart right now, it's Isaiah Pacheco. He's your clear RB1 moving forward, in my opinion. Jarrett McKinnon's a free agent, but I still think bringing him back makes a lot of sense. If you remember last year, he didn't sign until almost training camp, or maybe even during training camp, so don't necessarily panic there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is under contract. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. We'll see if he's a part of this team. I do want to mention, too, Ronald Jones actually is visiting with the Dallas Cowboys. So, and let's be honest, I don't think the Chiefs and Jones are going to reunite here. He was not happy in Kansas City, wanted a bigger role. So, don't think that's going to happen. I will say this about Zeke: you could help keep Pacheco's work usage down. Like I said, Zeke could, give you 8 to 10 carries a game, some short yardage, stuff like that, coming on some obvious passing downs to pick up some blitzes, and still has decent enough hands. He's not going to be a weapon as a pass catcher necessarily, but as a dump down guy who can, have surefire hands more often than not, he still catches the football pretty well. So, look, Zeke at one point was the best back in football. I don't think he's close to that. I think he's a top 30-ish back in this league, top 40, which means he should be on a team. I think here he'd be a number 2. And even if you signed him, I would still re-sign McKinnon, because then you kind of have this heavy rotation of Pacheco, who's kind of your 3-down back if you want him to be. Zeke, who can give you short yardage and blitz pickup. McKinnon can do some blitz pickup, but then he's also your guy who can make plays out of the backfield. So I'm open to Ezekiel Elliott. It would have to be cheap. Now, if I had to pick him or McKinnon, I would pick McKinnon for this team. But it doesn't necessarily have to be an either-or situation. What do you guys think? Would you sign Ezekiel Elliott in NFL free agency? Type S for sign or P for pass. Reply to the pinned comment. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. S for sign, P for pass. Would you sign Ezekiel Elliott? Let's talk about the wide receiver position now, going from receiver or from running back to receiver. Will the Chiefs sign OBJ or trade for DeAndre Hopkins? A lot of buzz that suggests the Chiefs are interested in both and would like to pull the trigger on one of these moves. With Brandon Cooks going to Dallas especially, I think, too. Kansas City could be down to these two guys in terms of the veteran wide receiver market. Not a lot of names out there at this point in time. Jerry Jeudy's on the block, but Denver's not trading him within the division, so not even going to mention him here. We'll start with OBJ, obviously, as Odell Beckham Jr. We've talked about it quite a bit here on the Chiefs Report, dating back to the regular season last year. Very talented player. We know that. But what we also know is he has 2 ACL tears in the last 3 years. He has not had a 1,000-yard season since 2019. When we last saw him play, he looked good, but he didn't necessarily look like a number 1. So it's going to come down to money when it comes down to Odell Beckham Jr., which is why I think there is reason enough for hesitation. More thoughts on that here in just a second. But first, I do want to shout out our sponsor today, and that is Athletic Greens. Appreciate Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's show, and I appreciate their product AG1 for keeping my energy level up, especially toward the end of the NFL season and on into free agency. It was a busy week last week. A lot of content we're pushing out, and AG1 helped me out. I recently started taking AG1 a couple of months ago, like I said, and I've never felt more energetic than I have these past couple of months. Football season was long. It was tiring, but AG1 gave me that boost I needed to finish strong, and now I feel back to myself and back fully in my routine. Not only is AG1 getting me into some good habits, I'm seeing better digestion as well. That's really important as I've needed to improve my gut health for a long time now, and AG1 is going to help me do that as it already has. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally could not be easier, which is why I personally trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water, drink it first thing in the morning. Boom, it's done. Very easy. I also like that it costs less than $3 per day. Very cost effective. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. A true win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is here to give you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your purchase when you use our link below, athleticgreens.com/jacksports. So check the comments, check the description, get going with AG1. It also tastes really good as well. I was really picky when I was younger, so 5 years ago even, I saw this green powder in this green drink. I'd be like, no way. I love it. athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check the comments, check the description. OBJ tweeted this out this morning because there was a report last week that he wanted $15 to $20 million, and he said, I'm just so confused where the quote is from that said, I want 20. All I'm saying is that 4 ain't enough. So he's suggesting that he's been offered $4 million in free agency, but he's also saying, hey, that report of where I want $20 million, I'm sure he would like to have $20 million. Who wouldn't? But he's saying he's not requesting that. That is not true. So you kind of look somewhere in the middle. 10 mil for OBJ? Is that something he would take? I mean, hell, Juju ended up signing for 3 for $25 with incentives up to 33. So at most, he's going to get 11 per year. And he's a safer commodity than OBJ at this point. So I think Beckham's got to realize, like, you know, even if he wants more than 4, like, you're not getting 17, man. I don't think. I mean, I think $10 million a year is more than fair. Maybe incentives up to 15, kind of like the Michael Thomas deal. So something to keep an eye on when it comes to this. I think when you debate OBJ and Hopkins, you got to factor in salary, because with Hopkins, you're going to have to trade a pick and take on a pretty significant cap number. Would you give Odell Beckham Jr. $10 million? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. I think I'd probably go up to 10. That's about as high as I would go, I think. But curious what you guys think down in the comments below. $10 million for OBJ, Y for yes, and for no. So let's go from OBJ to Nuke here, DeAndre Hopkins, who we've also talked about a lot over the past few months. And I still think he can be a number 1 receiver. I'm not confident in that in OBJ. I think OBJ is a number 1 receiver talent, but it's been so long since we've seen it. Last year, Hopkins was a number 1. He just missed 6. He missed 8 games, and 6 of those were due to suspension. Had he played 15-plus games, I mean, he's well eclipsing 1,000 yards. I mean, he had over 709 games played, and in one of those, he left the game with an injury. So he was averaging, 80, 85 yards a game when he was out there. And by the way, Kyler Murray missed some of those games with the torn ACL. So he's still very, very good. Now, you look at this Brandon Cooks trade, which I referenced earlier. Dallas only gave up a 5th this year and a 6th-round pick next year for Brandon Cooks. And the Texans ate some of that salary as well. And you're thinking, okay, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is better than Brandon Cooks. But is he so much better that the Cardinals are going to get what they want in a trade, which reportedly has been a 2nd-round pick? I don't think so. I mean, if I'm Brett Veach, I'm like, hey, we'll give you a 3rd. That's it. Like that's what we're doing. So I would probably rather give Arizona a 3rd and bring on Hopkins than sign OBJ, because I think there's less known with OBJ. I think Hopkins is more of a sure thing if you get him. But so that trade for Brandon Cooks, I think, made Hopkins' value go down a bit, because that's just not a lot to give up, guys. I know Hopkins is the better player, but he's also 31. So I think that could be good news for Kansas City. You look at the wide receiver depth chart, whether it's OBJ, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins, while there's some good players here, adding a player of that ilk to this group and taking some pressure off Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Sky Moore. I think that would be a good thing. I think it would help Patrick Mahomes. It certainly helps replace Juju Smith-Schuster. So something to monitor here, because these are kind of the 2 big names available outside of Jerry Jeudy on the wide receiver market. And again, KC's not getting Judy because they're not going to trade him within the division. All right, pick a wide receiver. Who would you rather have? Type DH for DeAndre Hopkins, OBJ for Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, you would have to trade for Hopkins, so can't factor that in here. DH for Hop or OBJ for Odell Beckham. If you want nonstop Chiefs news, rumors, and more content all year long, subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free. We don't charge you a dime. We bring you videos every day. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a video, so you never miss when we go live. You will get notified on your phone, so be sure to do that. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Subscribe, hit that noti bell, and select all. That way you never miss a Chiefs report. All right, one more rumor here. Could the Chiefs trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire? We talked about this a little while ago, and it's been linked in another article here today. Bleacher Report listed him as a player that must be traded at this point in the offseason. Maurice Mouton wrote about CEH and a few other NFL players, and he said, quote, because of a sluggish running back market, Kansas City shouldn't expect much in return for Edwards-Helaire, maybe a late-round pick. The Seattle Seahawks should push to acquire Edwards-Helaire to replace Rashad Penny, who signed with the Eagles in free agency. So Mouton here is saying, hey, maybe Seattle's a team that would punch. I would trade CEH for anything. Conditional pick, a pack of Pro V1 golf balls, I'm in. Like, if you could trade CEH, just clearing the money is worth it in itself because at best he's your RB2, but really he's probably your RB3 if you re-sign Jarrett McKinnick or hell, go sign Ezekiel Elliott. I like CEH. I hope it works out for him. He's had a lot of injuries. I don't think everything has been super fair for him since entering the NFL, but the production's gone down. Pacheco showed more as a rookie than Edwards-Helaire ever has. You save over $2 million if you trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I just think it makes sense if any team is willing to offer a pick of any kind that you take this deal if you're Brett Veach. And look, Edwards-Helaire probably needs a fresh start. That's just reality. It hasn't worked out for whatever reason. He hasn't been able to stay healthy for whatever reason. So, again, if you can get something for him, I think you take it if you're Kansas City. Now, what is going to be CEH's 2023 team? If you think he's still a Chief, type KC. If you think he'll be elsewhere, type E for elsewhere. I think he'll be gone. He could get cut as well. But let me know what you guys are thinking. KC for the Chiefs or E for elsewhere. Be sure to follow me on social media, on Twitter, at HGramNFL on Twitter. I'm also at HGramNFL on Instagram. If you have any Chiefs questions, let me know over there. I still have a lot of DMs to catch up on. I get that. So I'm going to get after that. It was a busy free agency period. At HGramNFL. We'll get caught up very, very soon.